All right, good morning, traders. This is Blake Morrow. You were listening to the Morning Edge webinar, and my allergies are really bothering me today. So I have a feeling I'll be putting you guys on hold from time to time as I deal with them. Whew, gosh, wow, I've just been sneezing. That's why I continue to have you guys on hold. I really need to go take allergy medicine, which I will on the next break. I will have to go do that immediately. Anyway. This hit me really bad. Okay, so here's the euro dollar. Let's get started with our analysis. Okay, so first and foremost, let's delete that. Actually, you know what we'll do? I don't want to delete everything. I just have to delete some of this stuff. Bear with me. Okay. So, okay. Let's talk about where we're at. All right. So first and foremost, the euro under pressure, and any move back up to this blue line, in my opinion, is a short. So, you know, if you zoom out a little bit, if the euro rallies back to, let's just call it like 110, let's just say this is the bottom, which we don't know if it is, but let's say that it is for right now. Let's say we have just weak data today. A move back up to 110.12, which would be the 618, and by the time we got back up here, 110 and change would be, you know, a great level to be on the short side. So, you know, I'll put resistance at 110.10, and I got to get this stuff done pretty quickly just because we have ADP this morning, so time is of the essence today. So 110.10, 110.20 is going to be really good resistance. All right. Obviously, support right now is at 109. You know, plain and simple. All right. Below 109. Okay, that's key support. But I got to show you what's below there because let's imagine the data comes in weaker than expected. Okay, so if the data comes in weaker than expected, or excuse me, or you know, when we broke down through here, somebody from FXCM, some French FXCM analyst, and no, some Italian FXCM analyst, and then this guy Nicholas, who's a strategist over at CMC Markets. They asked me where do I think the euro is going, and I said, well, I think it's going between 108.20 and 107.30. Okay, I still think that that's all very doable. You know, that's 108.20. This is 107.30, and that's what I was looking at back when we broke down through here. I said these levels right here would be my target now that we're breaking. So the first, you know, place of business is going to be what's the spike low here? 108.18. The low's right over here. 108.15, 108.07, 108.11. So I would say maybe it's 108.10. I think I had my numbers wrong, but 108.10. Okay. So if we relinquish 109 today, 108.10 would be the next logical stopping point, okay, for the euro dollar. Now, obviously, we're trading at 109.30. I don't really think we're going to get there today unless the numbers are staggeringly strong, which I based on the string of weak data that we've seen for the last couple of months, I doubt that's to be the case unless we get kind of a snapback rally, maybe based on some pent-up demand on data, but I don't think that that's going to be the case. Anyway, I really think if we break through 109, then we're going to drift down towards, you know, the 108 area, especially ahead of non-farm payroll. I don't see too of an exaggerated move. Okay, but anyway, that's what I'm looking at today with the euro. Oh, that's wrong. I need to put that in bearish. Okay, so let's go over the cable. So the cable's holding up pretty well. Where who are my euro pound traders? Euro pound traders. Okay, for those of you that traded, just to let you know, I went long the euro pound. Amanda, she said she went long. You know what? I went long this morning too. I know you got a better price than me. I wasn't awake when we were down here, but I bought it at 90. This is a descending wedge, and I got asked about it yesterday afternoon. We were like around here, and I said you can buy it here if you want. We were right here. I said you can buy it here if you want, but you better have the intention of buying it a little bit lower at 70, 80. Well, it went there overnight. So Amanda, great entry. I bought it here, and I'm expecting us to come out of this ascending wedge. So what does that mean? Why am I telling you this? The reason why I'm telling you this is because I expect the pound to roll over. Okay, so I expect the cable to actually start showing some signs of weakness. That's one of the reasons why I got out of my pound New Zealand as well. Anyway, so here's the pound dollar. Okay, so the pound dollar was trying to do its little head and shoulder pattern yesterday. It went. Oh my God, you didn't. I just lost a whole lot of respect for someone. I just lost major respect for somebody. Interesting. Okay. Anyway, um, so here's the pound. So the pound. Sorry, I won't. I'm not going to explain what I'm talking about either. So just sorry. Anyway, so here's the cable. Let's go a little bit longer term here. Let me move that back to where it was. Um, the cable, I think, is what the hell, man? Having all sorts of problems today. Okay, there we go. So the pound, I think, is going to have troubles here at this 154.50. I think that's a resistance we wrote down yesterday. I think we've been as high as the 40s, right? We've been as high as 44 today. So 154.50 is going to be resistance. 154.50 is resistance. I think that's going to be pretty key resistance. We are in a range. Okay. But I think it's probably going to start playing a little catch up to the euro. Now, support right now is the lows yesterday, which was 153.60, I believe. 153.59 here, 153.63. So 159.60. 153.60, 1.5360. That is support. Okay, that's going to be support for the cable for today. Now obviously this is going to be moving based on data as well. I mean, if the data comes in weak, if it's weak U.S. data, I mean, the cable could very easily start staging a pretty big breakout. That's another thing to think about too. If today's data is all weak U.S. dollar data, we could do this. Okay, we can start taking out this, and then going into Thursday, next thing you know, we're trading up here, especially with the Bank of England. So just don't, before you get too aggressively short the cable, just understand where it's at and in the potential of a breakout. Okay, it's right up against resistance. The risk reward favors a short here, but if it breaks to the upside, you have to be able to cut it quickly. All right. Okay. Let's go over to the Swissy. So the Swissy been a little bit weaker overnight. The Swiss franc has been a little stronger, but still the Swissy's holding up above really key support, which unfortunately is dropping as we go. which is at 97.70. But as long as we stay above there, I'm staying long the dollar Swiss. Okay, but I do understand there's the potential for us to push lower. Support can come down at 98.45 today. That is key support. And then resistance, obviously critical resistance from where we're currently at is at 99.60. Okay. And we're pretty much mid-range right now. So it is still bullish. It's just we're coming in right now. Oops. All right. Let's take a look at the dollar yen. So I got asked, somebody had asked me if I'm still long yen. I am still long yen. I am not short the dollar yen anymore. I got stopped out of it yesterday. It was a very, I think I lost like 22 pips or something. I shorted the dollar yen and kept a pretty tight stop. But anyway, I'm not short the dollar yen anymore. I got stopped out of it. But I am still long yen against other things, like, short the New Zealand yen, short the euro yen, short Swiss yen. I'm still short, what else? Canadian yen. So I'm still in those small positions, but I'm not short the dollar yen right now. Resistance is at 121.50, obviously. Okay, that's critical. Support. At 121, so 121.50 to 121. Okay, and if you think about this right here, so even if we drop to 121, you can imagine there's support right there. If we break below that 121, then you got a downside move, right? Okay, so 121 to 121.50. It's the dollar yen. We are range bound. 121.00. Resistance 121.50, and it is range bound. All right, let's go look at the dollar Canadian. So the dollar Canadian, I am long. I own it at 131. It's a small position. I'm not really too worried about it. As long as we stay above 130, I'm actually not even worried about it, frankly. But you guys know that this 130.50 is big support. Support because it's a horizontal support. It's a 127% extension it's 127% extension of this move, I think. Yeah, of that move is 127% extension. 50% retracement. We're holding there really well. Spike lows hold. Even if we move down to 130, 130 is just a big round number. I'm not too worried about it as long as we stay above these levels here. Okay. So I can tell you where support's at. Support's, what's that spike low from yesterday? 130.37, so 130.35, and then 130. So you can go 1.300, 1.3035, right? Actually, here, let's do this. Okay. Resistance for the dollar Canadian. It's a little tougher to read right now. It's a tough read on the dollar Canadian, I'd say. Because this gave us that false break yesterday, right? So this is invalidated right here, this trend line. So I can delete that. And I just don't know where resistance is. I'm assuming that maybe 131 is going to give us some trouble today because of all these spike lows here. So anyway, it's not major resistance, but I'll just write down 131. Okay. We are definitely range bound here. Okay, let's go over to the Kiwi. So the Kiwi, as you guys know here, I actually need to take a step back for a moment. So let's go over to the daily chart. Actually, 4 hour. This would be better. Okay, so the 4 hour. The thing about the Kiwi is we broke. Okay, we had a triangle. We broke. Done. That's out. Okay. Now we have this down-sloping trend line that's right here. It may come back into play, so that's why I don't want to get rid of it completely. Okay. But we have this down-sloping trend line right here, which gives us a pennant, which doesn't make it necessarily, it does not make it necessarily bearish. It makes it bearish if we break below here. Okay. It's very similar to the dollar index. If you look at the dollar index longer term, let me get rid of this. Hold on. Actually, this, I don't want to see that. What the hell? Okay, I want to get rid of that. What is this compared to? Okay. So it's like the dollar index. It's like this is not bearish until you break the lows, right? This is the longer term chart of the dollar index, and you can see how we're breaking higher. The Kiwi is the same way. Okay, it's not bearish until you break below 66.20. Now we break below 66.20 and things are going to get a little nasty for the Kiwi. Now, do I think that the Kiwi dollar is going to break below 66.20? Yeah, I do. I'm short the Kiwi. Okay. The reason why is not because technically it doesn't look bearish. It's because fundamentally, you saw the data that came out the last 2 days. Okay. The potential for a rate cut has increased significantly after the last couple of days for the RBNZ. You know, it's not like you look at the dollar and you go, well, the dollar, the reason why it's bullish is because the dollar, we have divergent monetary policy between the two, right? Between the Fed and every other central bank. Of course, the dollar is going to go higher. That's a given. Okay, this is where where you have to incorporate macro analysis into your technical analysis. Okay, where I can look at the Kiwi and say, well, this is this exact same structure technically, but I think a downside break is more likely due to fundamental factors. That's why if you ignore, the fundamentals, then you're going to have less consistency in your trading. All right. But anyway, like I said, same structure. It's just this one is more likely to break lower due to the fundamental backdrop. Okay. Anyway, 66.20 is major support. What's the spike low here? 66.18, 66.17, spike low here, which was actually a real spike low because I was watching it while I was driving. 66.20, and then overnight we've been as low as 66.27. So yeah, support 0.6620. It's really key support today. Okay. Resistance. What would take the downside pressure off the Kiwi? I guess we'd have to get above this resistance here, which is 66. Satan's number. Just kidding. 66.70 basically would have to be taken out. 66.70. Take off the bearish spin, and we're in my opinion we're going from range to turning bearish, but I'm going to keep it at range right now. But if we break below the 66.20, it turns bearish. Okay. God, this Kiwi is going to break down. Go Kiwi. Go girl. It's good. It's breaking right now. We just hit new lows. Shoot, I shouldn't have got out of that, pound New Zealand. I knew it. Scuzz bucket. It's all right. It's all right. It was a nice trade. Making 440 some odd pips is not a bad thing. I think you would all agree with that, right? Okay. Anyway, let's get back to business. Aussie. So the Aussie, this is really key resistance here. $72.25, period, end of story. $72.25, key resistance. All right, support. A spike low is real. Support's gonna be right here. 71.50. Here, let me get rid of this and put in a horizontal line. $71.50. Key support. Okay. Okay, dollar index. Now, I'll reiterate, lots of people were looking at this yesterday, and they were thinking this, huh? Okay. The risk is that, like every other head and shoulder pattern setup, you get, and you get a continuation. That's the risk if you're shorting the dollar right now. Okay. So right now, this is an hourly chart of the dollar, and I'm going to take this previous red line that we got here. I'm going to grab it. I want to put it right here. That's support right now. That comes in at 96, or basically 97. So if you look at the other dollar index, DXY, the ICE dollar index, 97 is going to be, real close to there, probably about the same, because if you 97 would be right about here. Okay, so basically it's real close to the same. Okay, so just watch the dollar index, 97. It's actually 96.95. That's support right now for the dollar index. 96.95, and then resistance is well, resistance is real simple. It's actually the highs here. So it's going to be the highs at 97.80, because that means the euro is breaking below 109. Okay, 97.80, 97.80, 97.80, 97.80.80. I'm assuming that's the same high as it's whoops, dang, I'm forgetting all sorts of stuff. Bullish range. Let's see, back to, this is the ICE dollar index, high there, 97.81. Yeah, so same, 97.80. Okay, when I get back, we got peso, Swedish krona, Norwegian krona, and then we have ADP. So a lot of stuff happening. Don't go anywhere. Be right back. Gonna go get some more coffee. All right, traders, this is Blake Morrow. You were listening to the Morning Edge webinar. I'm back. let's continue on with we're going to do the peso, which I still have a long peso trade. It's still above 233, which I think is major support, obviously, or 1633, excuse me. We came to 1635 yesterday. I'm like, man, okay, my inaugural U.S. dollar Mexican peso trade, and I'm underwater right now, but you know that's okay. It's still holding above what I consider really key support, which is obviously 1633. Resistance is at 1670. So even if you bought it right now, you'd get a better price than me. U.S. dollar Mexican peso. I'm not saying that's the right trade either. I'm just saying 1633. That's really key support. 16.70 is resistance, and it is range bound. Okay, let's go over to the U.S. dollar Norwegian krone. Now this is the big cup and handle pattern trying to set up. I think it looks kind of nice. If we break 860, that would be huge resistance above 860. U.S. dollar Norwegian krone. Keep an eye on that, especially if the euro dollar starts to break down. 8.6000 asterisk. And we are about ready to turn bullish again on the U.S. dollar Norwegian krone. I mean, it should be a bullish trend anyway, but 842.50, 842.80, yeah, 842.50. Support 8.4250. And let's go to the Swedish krona, which I'm not long either one of these, but man, I'll tell you, U.S. dollar, Swedish krona, I feel like I need to be long this, and I'm not at the moment. Strong data today, and I probably will get long. So 857, that's a high yesterday, 858. U.S. dollar, Swedish krona, 8.58. That's key level resistance. Support is that low there, which is 847.80, which is 848 basically. So 848. Like I said, I feel like I need to be long the U.S. dollar Swedish krona, but I'd like to see confirmation of good strong U.S. data today. I mean that would be it. You know, that would be my that would you know trip me into getting some longs there. Okay, your bias chart is done. Let me take some questions really quick. Well, not really quick. I'll try to take as many as I can before we have 80.